Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 2. It's a bit of a special show tonight because it's the first time we'll also see one of the teams from the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance playing European football. More to come on that one, but you can see it's only 6 fixtures from the league because of that game, which is actually taking place one game day later. Their team is in, but there may be changes if someone gets injured in training on the day. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Stephen Fife, multiple manager of teams in the league at the moment. Obviously, yesterday the news came that you've taken over at Flamingos. So good evening, Fifey. How are you?
Evening, yeah, very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Not a problem. Tell us about your Flamingos side and your appointment there.
Quite possibly the worst assembly of players ever imaginable. I got the call fairly late yesterday by your good self. Did as extensive testing as I could to establish that A, nobody's heard of pretty much 3/4 of the squad, and B, they're all shit. I mean,
are they?
Well, yes. I mean, we were having a brief chat, some of the Super League managers, and I was explaining that you'd let me have the team, and I mean, there's only 4 of the players have got tackling 10 or above in the whole squad, and one of them is
the defenders, are they?
One of them is the youth regen that I've randomly decided to put in the first team squad. I mean, Cherno Samba's there, but there's no one's passing the ball. For a squad that has something like 10 strikers in it, there's no one to supply them anything.
And the interesting thing was you played 1.
Yes. Well, ultimately, I can't remember who it was. Was it Tato or possibly Robbie or someone has very quickly given me the moniker, which I'm going to adopt for the rest of the Swemp League, of Alafife.
Oh yes, yeah, indeed.
You know, I'm going to go full Greavesy for those of you of Super League knowledge, and I'm going to find the biggest possible bus I can find and just park it for the rest of the season, because the squad is truly, truly atrocious.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
I think when you and Swanee allowed me a little bit of time looking at the Gondor squad, and I said, Jesus, by comparison to all the other teams, this is awful. The Gondor team is elite compared to the Flamingos squad.
They would destroy the Flamingos. Quick word in the chat there. We've got Big Kid, we've got David, and we've got Jimmy. So good evening to all of you.
Evening, fellas.
Yeah, big night ahead. But yeah, absolutely, the Flamingos side, when you look at a team of 17-year-olds and younger at the start, it's not necessarily the best 17-year-olds and younger, is it, either?
No, I mean, just off the top of your head, I'm sure the likes of Arjen Robbins start at 17.
Yeah.
They're not in the squad. As I say, there's a load of people I haven't heard of, and it's got to the point that the squad that I've inherited, I've actually incorporated the youth regens into it because I think they're better than the players that I actually started with.
That is not wrong. Not wrong at all. But next season, clean slate, Division 2 almost certain by now. But yeah, something to look forward to. And of course, tonight, you're in charge of the first team on our fixture list. Mr. Swan has allowed you to tinker around with that Gondor side again.
Yeah, well, as you know, because I've been trying to catch up and make sure I'm following all the... I've been paying more attention to the rules of the Swemp League than I have the COVID rules of late, just to make sure I'm following all the legalities. And as you know, there's been extensive testing going on just to try and find something that resembles a formation that might get him some points. And as you know, I've done okay. I got to the point where I took it to the last game. I've still not managed to complete a save where they don't finish in the bottom two, but I have got to the point now where they can get to the final game and still be in with a shout of that sort of playoff place that's third bottom.
Yes, the playoff place, which obviously no playoff will happen as such, but it's always nice to think you had a chance of surviving. Good job there's no relegation, to be honest. Anyway, Gondor in some form, if it's Gondor or if it's a different team next season. I think Swanee with the potential of teams going for different concepts and things. I think Gondor will be stronger whether they make changes or not.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking sort of off air, if you like, before you started the stream about your thoughts about the team you're going to be putting in, and I sort of gave you examples of what I'd be looking to do with my franchise, if you like. And I'm hoping for anyone who is involved, and obviously I'm in no position to put any pressure on people, but I'm hoping more people go with whether it's a concept or just mixing it up a bit. That there's not so many full elite squads. You have the odd elite player, of course, but I what I've enjoyed since you've let me either commentate or have a look at some of the teams is I much prefer the teams that haven't got all of the the Patrick Vieiras and the Ruud van Nistelrooys, and I like the teams that have the random players that you're like, wow, nice of them to throw a name in, no one else has picked them, kind of thing.
Exactly, all part of the fun. Mr. Savage is here, Mike. Good evening.
Like,
Otis versus Roundhay, the second match on our list. Notice alphabetical order starts with G and heads straight to O afterwards. We've got most of the early alphabet sides playing away. Radaby versus Atletico New Mills. Real E versus Blues, a big game there in the top four. Stackington Danglies, last time round, a very interesting scoreline. And Trumpton versus Dalgety Rangers, a top of the table clash. Yes, you want random players? Wait for my concept. Mike, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know who's in your team, but I do know it is going to be an interesting one. Let's get started on these. You notice that the Champions League is actually getting started, and we've got Bolton and Leicester in it. There are some absolutely bizarre kind of sides due to the reputation changes of some of the big clubs. So it's Arminia Bielefeld in the Champions League there. And we've got the Wanderers of Wolverhampton versus Leicester, which is quite the challenge there. Wolfie has got into the Champions League in the other realm, so it's going to be quite interesting there to see what happens to them. Anyway, without further ado, it is Gondor versus Los Aracas, so it is your side up first for tonight. Not sure you can do random players and random formations, big kid. Whatever you
because
can.
from what I know of Big Kid, he has mastered the random formation. I'm sure over the pre-season he can master just throwing in a few random names.
Yes, indeed, a real great addition to the league this season, Big Kid. And I say addition to the league, a great founder member of the league, would I say. And looking forward to whatever you do next season. Trumpton, Vice Squad, whatever it is that you've got going on. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So, Los Aracas today, one enforced change. Balmer has been replaced, and it is just essentially a straight swap, and it's on the subs bench that the change has happened anyway. Julius Agahawa called back in. Otherwise, totally unchanged.
Yeah, obviously I've been doing a lot of testing against this team and basically putting the managers on holiday and asking the assistants to keep the tactics and keep the squad selection as close as they possibly can. And they are, without question, a dangerous side. You look at that midfield five, if you like, and it's incredibly strong. Obviously, Alan Shearer up top as well. Everyone from the home saves know that if you get him firing, he can certainly score goals. I'm not a massive fan personally of the fullbacks having the diagonal arrow. I've seen it go the other way around, where perhaps they start centrally and run out, but not where they start wide and run in. So it'll be interesting to see that in action properly. But again, going back to what I was saying originally, this is one of the sides I like watching because although they have got the likes of Ronaldinho, to an extent, Raquel May Costanzo, they are also playing your Duffs, your Hearts, your Johnsons, and they've got a concept which makes it interesting without what's the right way of saying it? It makes it interesting to watch without being samey because they are just playing all the big names. So obviously, I hope Gondor win tonight. But it's interesting to see how Nosarakas are able to perform.
Yeah, yeah. I think you mentioned about the fullbacks. I think Duff is probably more capable at doing that than Ian Hart. Hart not necessarily impressive. Go to the last game, a cup match, and pretty much all the outfield players who played the match did a great job. Ian Hart on a 7. They struggled past the non-league side, and we'll see how they get on today against a side a little bit better than non-league. Quinton's in as well. Good evening, Quinton. Just arrived at time for the first match. Gondor. So your side that you've selected today with Mr. Swan is as follows.
Yeah, so we've been talking about different tests that I've done and ways to sort of pick up points. This is a slight variation to what the Devils played last season in the Super League, to in keep with your rules of having a minimum 3 at the back.
Fullbacks
Previous,
being
yeah,
instead of wing-backs,
so the fullbacks are slightly further forward. Anyone who's watched some of the stuff I've done over the last 12 months, they'll be familiar with the diag arrow that Makalele's sporting tonight. That's what I call the Barry Ferguson role, where he starts back but runs forward. Obviously, the first game I got to run Gondor, I had Fallon up front because I was basing it purely on stats, and he's the best finisher. But in testing, I found Sidibe was better as a sort of all-round player, and he might not score the goals for Gondor,
or a
but
goal.
or a goal for Gondor, but he offers. He can pick up an assist. He seems to work defenders a bit harder, and in the testing only, obviously, his ratings were. We managed to get his form slightly higher. I hope a few people got to catch the song that I sent out this morning because the named players, Makalele's there, Lee Trundle will score. I'm hoping if this is my last involvement with Gondor, I can sign off with something to put a smile on Swan's face.
Yes, extremely attacking fullbacks there, McLeod and Van der Hoon. I think it will be interesting to see what they can do. But yeah, attack being the best form of defence for Gondor. Quinton saying he's been enjoying your summary about the concepts and enjoying those more than top ability players, and also mentioning that he's looking forward to Mike's. Mike mentioned that there was a Fortuna player going into the squad for Mike next season, which we did spend a little bit of time trying to work that out last night. Quinton, did we remember? Or did you work out who it was? Because I was pretty much half asleep by the end of last night. Let's get this game going anyway. Willie Guerre has been called in goal, of course, in replacing Roger Freestone. I think they've both played reasonably well. Goals conceded,
Yeah,
but
it's
still
it's an
good.
interesting one because Freestone played really well last week in Swemp, but Willie Guerre performed better all week in my testing. So I thought I better stick with what's been happening to try and mimic what I managed to achieve, if you like.
Yes, let's see how things go in this one. I mean, predictions wise, Big Kid predicts Gondor to win the match, which would be a first.
Losarakis, obviously, despite what Big Kid says, he's been very kind. Losarakis will obviously go in as favourites. But believe me, although I am a Flamingos man now, if Gondor pull this off, then I will be celebrating straight into the valleys.
Hopefully, not getting nude.
Well, thankfully, you're the only one that can see me, so I'll let you depict to the viewers whether it's nude or not.
Here we go. And we've kicked off, and it's a pretty slow start to the game. Van der Hoon coming forward, though. Losarakis took the ball forward a little bit, and the game's gone pretty quiet. Trundle going forward. He's off target with his chance. Ronaldinho puts one wide. The game is starting to open up a little bit more. Shearer's missed the target. But yeah, the first 15 minutes was a little bit cagey. We started to get forward a bit more with chances. Ronaldinho, I think he had 2 chances there. Couldn't put it in. And at the half-hour mark, it is still 0-0. Gondor looking lively. Sidibe could have scored his first goal of the season then, but no, just a little bit lacking confidence. Woodgate takes a look in, and Romo! David Romo scores the opening goal. Wow. But Shearer equalises quickly afterwards. And then before half-time, Araka's looking more dangerous. We go into the break, though, at 50 minutes into the first half, 1 apiece, and everybody at 6s and 7s, no standout players at all.
Absolutely delighted. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen everything since you started this league, but that is as good as I've seen Gondor in recent weeks. I'm so happy with what they've managed to achieve in that first half.
Yeah, I think at one point they might have had a 2-0 lead in one match or something, but never held on to it. Never held on, and that's been a great first half for Gondor. Looking at the goals,
credit while you flick to the goals, credit to Los Rackers there, obviously for bouncing straight back from the embarrassment of going down 1 to Gondor. But yeah, it's been an even and an interesting half. You were picking out Trundle's name came up and Sidibe's name came up just as much as Ronaldinho's and Shearer's. So I'm hopeful.
Just noticing what Quinton's saying. So let's have a little look at the goals. So Romo has got the rebound off a Trundle free kick. And then look at the equaliser there. Fantastic. Ian Haas free kick. And Shearer out jumping Coleman for the equaliser. What a goal it was.
Oh my God.
Yes, is that better? So Los Aracas looking at them at half time. Ronnie Johnson is probably having a better defensive game than usual.
If I can just briefly divert sideways to pick up Quintin on the point that both commentators were underwhelmed, it has to be said that yesterday the commentary team were hopeful that Jens was going to be putting a goalkeeper up front to fully embarrass the Flamingo squad. So forgive me if I was slightly underwhelmed that Alan Shearer scored against Gondor.
That is a beauty of the league, isn't it, to make those kind of suggestions. Matt Lucas is in, so that's really good to see you here for this round of fixtures. Baracas won't be making any changes unless enforced. For yourself there at Gondor, Makaleli doing a decent job going forward as well as in defence, and McLeod certainly doing a good tackling job at left back.
Yeah, I obviously, as to say that the Gondor squad isn't blessed with massive ability. Souza and Makaleli are 2 of the star men if you add a manager and sort of start again and look at the squad from the beginning. So it's important to have them, but unfortunately they're both walking yellow cards, so they're almost constantly tag team suspended. So it's very rare between now and the end of the season that they're going to be able to partner each other.
Especially with 2 after your third booking, it's then 2 games in a row before the next suspension, so it's not much at all.
I'm just having a quick look at the fitness there. Everyone seems to be okay as far as I can see.
Yeah, as Mr. Savage referring to, Willie still being at 100%, but he's a little flaccid, if you ask me. We've got, I think that may well be Big Noopy on there as Deborah Allen. Not entirely sure, could be. And unless it's Deborah Allen, good evening anyway. And Tato is here as well. So yeah, any subs for you?
No, I'm going to stick as is till 60 minutes, if I may, please.
That is fine. Yeah, Fifey 2T tonight. If he's doing his final little fest at Gondor tonight, his goodbye to the side. Now he has the Flamingos. So yeah, 60 minutes. Let's get to there. Aracas, can they get a goal to take themselves back into the lead without making any changes and enforce? Frank Lampard has scored. It is 2-1 to Gondor. It's 3, but it disallowed. Sidibe had
Oh no!
scored. Well,
Oh, I don't believe it.
I mean, yep, Lampard has scored for these. Well, yeah, I
What the
mean,
fuck? That is, sorry, I don't know if foul language is allowed on these streets, but that is never a disallowed goal. We should be 3-1. I'm fuming. That should be 3-1.
there's obviously certain words banned, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to swear on it because I'm a good boy, but whatever. Lee Trundle's just tired. He's just tired at the moment, and
Could you
Sidibe
possibly just flick back to the
to the
match
ratings,
ratings?
of course. Yeah, just checking your things there. So the two that are lowest on fitness are just tired, low stamina.
No, I'll keep it as it is. I was considering a change there of bringing Nardiello on, but looking at the ratings, I'm really happy. So no, we'll keep it as it is for the last half an hour and hope that we can carry on as we are.
That's all right. Well, there's nothing enforced on this team. There's nobody absolutely miles out on fitness. So both teams will go without changes. And
I'm tasting.
really, will we get a first win for Gondor? The answer so far is looking like it's going to be tight because the Rackers are certainly getting into the attacking mode at this point. Willie Guerre holding out. Still only a couple of players on 8s at this moment. Christian Edwards has dropped to a 5. Shearer has put in the equaliser. Alan Shearer, the equaliser for them at that moment. And it's 15 minutes left. And Sidibe is still going forward. Trundle, it's 3-2. And Trundle has scored. Shearer's chasing a hat-trick now for Arakas. But with 10 minutes to go, this could be the biggest shock of this season. We have just 5 minutes left. Ball forward again, Dyer with a chance. It hasn't fallen to any other Arakas play. It is a 3-2 full-time victory for Gondor. That is Fifey making those sounds. It's not his cat. 3-2. Wow.
What a week! Come on. Oh, I'm so happy.
Look at that. It's not even like they've sneaked it. It has been a very close game, but deserved.
Come on, Gondor.
A big kid, absolutely right. A close game, but a victory for Gondor at last.
Yes. Trundle will score 1, 2, 3, 4.
The song worked. The song
did
work.
That for you, Swanee. #SOG.
So Trundle gets a loose ball, plays in Lampard, so he got an assist there, Trundle. Then we had, of course, the equaliser from Shearer, and it is another rebound from Woodgate having a shot and Guerre parrying it out. But then a loose ball, after being blazed over the bar, there was a loose ball. That's an interesting one. And it's been put in by Lee Trundle. First half, of course, was it the first half we had a disallowed goal, or was it the second half? It was here. Yeah. So it was a loose, it was an offside from Lee Trundle that led
Lee
to that.
Trundle has never been offside in his life. And he's playing in an AM position. How the hell could he be offside?
Well, it must just be that run that's put him offside. So yeah, I mean, some great passing stats there. Romo doing plenty of work, and the players certainly put in full effort during that game. No absolute standouts though for any player on the team.
The absolute standout is that they won.
Yes,
that is standard. Is that their first win of the season?
It is only their 4th point. Yep, 1 win, 1 draw.
Swemp Division 2, are you not entertained? Do you know what? And what I'm most pleased about, because picking up on the point Tato's making, yes. Well, no, I'm not sure I want to leave Gondor for Flamingos, but it's the contract offer I've accepted, and I'm a man of my word. But what I'm delighted with is Quintin, Big Kid, Matt. I can see also halfway through the second half. But come on, Gondor. Swanee now has an array of fans backing him all the way. that they can get off the bottom. And hopefully, if results go his way tonight, they won't even be bottom by the time we finish at whatever time tonight.
Well, we shall see. It's been a great start to the evening. The comments has been very, very positive about Gondor for that match, and absolutely so. Shearer, man of the match, 2 goals. Duff played fairly well, and Iraq's nothing really from them. It's a shame for them, but that's where we're at.
In the interest of impartiality, I have to congratulate Los Iraqis on twice coming from behind, showing that mental grit and staying in the game. At no point until that said full time was I confident we would keep that win.
That was the last time they played each other. So Willie Guerrier came on for a sent-off Roger Freestone, Trundle withdrawn. Sosa had gone off injured early on. There was no wonder that they took the defeat there. But looking to this match, Really versus Blues, two of our big teams at the moment. This is second versus fourth. So I think we have the top 4 all playing each other tonight. And let's have a look at the Real E side. Matt is here for this one. Last time they played each other, 2-1 to Blues and a Bosnich red card. So this was a day certainly for goalkeeping cards.
Well, I mean, you alluded to the fact you've got the top 4 playing each other tonight, and we are at the business end of the season. We've got the EFL playoffs, we've got the European finals. This is when we need the real drama, and Swemp is clearly going to be delivering tonight. Obviously, this is now my 3rd time having the opportunity to comment, so I'm becoming familiar with some of these squads now. So I'm used to seeing the defenders with the sideways arrows, which still slightly confuse me. But if it's working for Matt, then full credit to him. That midfield is very, very strong. Obviously, you got the Man United contingent there. Vieira, who everyone says is probably best on the game, and Harry Kewell, a player I'm very familiar with from Devils. So I know what a job he can do there. I was happy to offload Ronaldinho because I had Harry Kewell playing there. Interesting, the Bosnich's on the bench for this one. Obviously, perhaps reacting to the fact he got a red card or just a form of Kirkland. And as Tato said, Van Nistelrooy to score is probably the most surefire bet of the night. But really, is a very good squad on paper. And it'll be interesting. I wouldn't write off Viduka having a say here. He can sort of pull up a goal or 3 when you really need him to.
A goal or 3. A goal, well, 3 would be better for them, wouldn't it? We can see in the predictions already, we've got a narrow win for Real E, a 1-1 draw going in there as well. So Big Kid, and Quinton respectively on the predictions there.
Big E?
Big E. It's a good name, that one, isn't it? Who is Big E? He's definitely something.
Is he not a wrestler?
It could be. Could be one of those dead wrestlers, but I'm not sure. So really going into the game there, just to check they did have the goalkeeper on the bench. The plan was to make sure there was one. So yeah, Bosnich is there. And for their opposition, Blues, there are a couple of changes to the lineup. Obviously, last time out in the Cup, they had a 5-0 win over Goldringen, which was certainly positive for them as a glorified friendly. There is a referee. There is a wrestler called Big E, and he's not dead. But notorious Big E Smalls is dead. The Dublin Blues side for you
there. See, this is one of those ones that's largely again an elite squad, if you like. But it's slightly different to the norm. Despite his qualities, Zambrotta isn't a player who necessarily gets the recognition he deserves. So it's nice to see him there. I know there's 1 or 2 managers again in the Super League who would love to have Zambrotta in their squad. Hoffland, of the elite centre backs, Hoffland is one I'm a big fan of. I really like him. So although you've got the likes of Lucio there, who'll probably be the standout defender, Hoffland is the one I'm looking at as the one I enjoy watching more. Totti, it's a difficult one with him. Where is his best position? Some people play him up front, some people AM, some people midfield, some people put him out wide. It's as if the champ Totti is not the real life Totti, because you always knew what you were getting from him, whereas you never know what you're getting from the champ Totti.
Very mixed bag for Francesco Totti. Captain in the side though, in the Blues side these days. It's something, maybe a bit of responsibility will do some good for him there. Totti's best on the bench, Quinton says. And
do you know what?
Blues...
Once back in my youth football days, when I had aspirations of maybe making it to non-league one day, I played for a particularly bad football team, sort of age
Flamingos.
15, no worse, and we got a new coach come in, and he went around every player. He said, "Forget where you play. Where do you think your best position is?" So he went around, and like some of the defenders say, "Oh, I think I'm actually better in midfield," and such and so on and so forth. And he came to me and he said, "You normally play striker?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Where do you think your best position is?" I said, "On the bench, because that's where they keep putting me."
Definitely at the position of choice. Yeah, so just taking a look at the comments there. Blues to win because they play the Badger Arrow, says Mr. Tato. And yeah, you're right, Big Noopy. Hoffland is a striker, as you've been showing recently. But yeah, what is he doing back there? We'll find out.
I'm going to go for Dublin Blues because I like what we've got in terms of width. But I do think really could expose the gaps at the back if they play to their strengths. But I am going to say Blues will win it, possibly 3-2.
So Premier League stars versus world stars. Let's see who takes the victory in this game.
Does Chris Kirkland count as a Premier League star?
Well, he's in the Premier League squad here, isn't he? He's not necessarily a Premier League star team. Totti has scored to take the lead at this point. Blues one up at this early part. Blues has certainly been top two for a long, long time now and don't want really to crash that party. So they are one up as it stands.
Of all the teams, during my testing with Gondor, Blues were the one I hated coming up against. They were the one that would always put 5 past Gondor, no matter what I tried.
They try to put more past really as it stands, but really came back with a chance then. It was not to be successful. But we're approaching the half-hour mark. The game has certainly evened out a little bit. Totti playing the best of the outfield players as it stands. Both goalkeepers being involved. A chance, and I think that was hitting the upright there. Might have been Nicky Ferenko. And then into the last 10 minutes before half-time. Will we get an equaliser, or will Blues get another one? Could be neither, and it's petering out a bit, but maybe a chance. Maybe a chance. It's going for Van Nistelrooy. Bischan's taking the yellow card. And half-time. Well, plenty of action in that first half.
Yeah, I thought Blues started well. They got their goal. But I thought really responded really well to going behind. And are slightly unfortunate not to go in level, to be fair.
Blues being caught offside plenty of times at the moment, really. With their defence, it seems to be working in that regard. Take a quick look at the goal and straight over to the Real E side to see if they're going to make any subs. It was a loose ball after Van Nistelrooy found Collins, but it went loose and Totti put it in instead. And yeah, 15 free kicks. Just to check those stats again, it was 10 offsides. Yeah, 10 offsides at that point. And yeah, so really, that couldn't be much more straightforward. I mean, Hoopier on 96, every other outfield player on 95.
And perhaps more worryingly is the array of sixes in terms of match ratings.
Not pushing themselves.
No, they're not really. The conditions suggest they're not exerting a lot of energy, and the ratings suggest they're not doing much that resembles high class football either. So I'm not going to make suggestions of substitutions. It's not my place to do that, but I would suggest that there is a sub required just to put a bit of life back into the performance.
Yeah, in my view, probably as well. But I know that Mr. Lucas, he enjoys making his 60-minute changes. If you want to make any changes, though, just drop one in the chat for us. And
The one thing I would be concerned about on really is that Veron, who, if I remember rightly, he is dead central in that formation, has attempted 8 passes
and no tackles and one no headers. Yeah, he's very, very passive as it stands. You're not wrong at all. Yeah, for Blues, they are playing slightly better. They are relying more on Zeriberto to hit the target, and yeah, I mean this team's not making passes either. It's been a strange match because it seemed quite entertaining.
The only slight concern for me here would be Lucio having a yellow card and a 6, because if really can improve their performance slightly, then Lucio's going to be a lot busier, and if he's already got a yellow card on what little they've done, then he's in trouble.
He would be indeed. Substitute requests usually with this team with no other requests all season. It's been the same one, bad or tired at 60. So we'll see how that goes. I think Matt's waiting for 60 minutes, as would usually happen. I've got his subs in case he doesn't say anything. I've definitely got what he would usually do as subs here. So anyway, on with the first 15 minutes of the second half, and really going forward, Giggs has had a chance and he could not hit the target, unlike from real life. And there we are. So Blues definitely tried to come back into this game, but real the subs are being made. Yeah, Matt, it's completely up to you what you want to do, of course. 6s, Van Nistelrooy's on an 8, and we've got 7s for Kewell and Beckham, but everyone else on 6s. And condition-wise, still yet to get out of first gear. So have a think about what you might want to do with your substitutes there. I mean, you said you don't want to influence subs, Fifey, but yeah, he's going for subs as per. What would you have done?
Looking at this, if I could just quickly see the ratings again. I mean, the fact that they're on, well, the whole midfield really isn't offering. Kewell's trying to do a bit, which alludes to why Van Nistelrooy's got his 8, I suppose, but the Duke on his 6 as well. The fact that Vieira's on a 6, despite the fact that Blues are attacking. I'd still be very concerned Veron is having absolutely no impact.
You've made that point there, definitely. Bowyer for Beckham or Veron, whoever's playing worse, and it was Veron. And then, of course, you did mention Viduka having a poor game, and it's Viduka coming off for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. So, perfect.
See, that's an interesting one, because I might have been tempted.
No, we got Beckham off, so I'm going to undo that. Because he said subs as per, but we're not going for subs as per. We're going for subs slightly different. So it's Beckham coming off. Veron's going to stay on the pitch, and there we go. So
interesting that he's moving Veron out to the right though, because I would have been tempted to leave Bowyer there almost like for like.
I wonder if it's the run, maybe getting Veron a bit more involved in the attacking way. So I'm going to do that. Just caught in time with the things that no, don't worry, Matt. You are the manager. I am the major happener.
Hasselbank is the obvious option, but I might have been tempted with Louis Saha just to do something a bit different up front. Viduka for Hasselbank
has some good pace, doesn't he? But yeah, Hasselbank 17 pace, Saha 18. Not much difference actually, to be honest at all. So we shall see. Bad or tired at 60. Well, Nikiforenko might well be classed as bad at this point, and yet to make two changes.
What's your thoughts on Nikiforenko generally? It was an interesting chat we were having last night, and he's a player who I know Jens has been talking about. He's not really reached the level of performances in the Super League this year that he was expecting, but he's a player that everyone raves about. So what's your thoughts on him generally?
I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of him, especially on my game with Quinton where I was Bayern, he was Dortmund. The absolute most influential player on my team, top scorer from midfield in the majority of seasons. I've got the best out of him for my team, I suppose. I'm gonna go for Collins. Looks tired. I think he'll be the second sub rather than the bad bits. So yeah, bad and tired at 60. Those two will be the changes there.
With Raquel may be a midfielder. Would you be tempted to swap him with Totti?
As there are no requests to do so, I'm not going to, and I know they can both play in those two positions, so I'm
No.
just going to leave him as is. But yes, personally, I would be. Big Kid would change the full-back runs to forward runs. Yeah, that would be something there in terms of what really could do from Big Kid. I mean, Big Kid, you like your arrows. You do like your arrows. As
I
do
like
I.
an arrow.
As do I. We're 25 minutes from the end of this game. It's still 1-0. And Blues are, as it stands, holding on to this. Chris Kirkland held on to the ball just then after that. I'm going to put it back onto player ratings, of course. Look and see what we're doing. Kirkland on 9, Buffon on 9. This is a game for the keepers. And really trying to get back in. Oh, a chance there. Nearly getting there. And this could be Totti again, 2-0. I don't think I expected Totti to be pulling on 2 goals there. But they've got what looks like the victory. 3-0. Oh, disallowed Zeriberto it was. And a 2-0 victory. Totti man of the match. And Van Nistelrooy playing well for Real E. But yep, the goalkeepers, as we say, playing very, very well.
Yeah, very. It was a very goalkeeper dominant game. That both did well. Interesting. Totti was the one I asked the questions of before the game, and he's the one with the 2 goals and the man of the match. But that's a massive win for Blues. That's a real kick in the balls, really, for Real E. Sadly, for their chances for aiming for the top of the table. I think it was a more even game than perhaps 2-0 suggests. But credit to Blues, they're clearly a very talented squad playing at peak performance at the moment.
Definitely so, yeah. I mean, they must have temporarily returned to the top of the table as it stands. And Kirkland did do his best to make it, but Totti put in the rebound. Really, they livened up a bit in the second half, but yeah, Hoopier tackles in there. Kirkland playing very well in goal. The Premier League star, of course, as Quinton referred to me saying earlier on. Bischan, yeah, took a yellow card, but played all right in that sort of right-sided, right back when defending and centre back when attacking.
Yes, definitely. As I was saying, I don't personally understand that tactical choice, but it is one that seems to be working for them. And as you say there, Biscan putting in a decent shift on his side.
Yeah, he did indeed. Taking up the opposition there. Totti, both his shots going in. Vieira being quite wasteful in his challenges for a change there. And yeah, the subs never really got going, did they, for Blues? But they did still score another goal with those 2 on the pitch.
It could be quite difficult for subs sometimes. We see it in real life. It can be difficult for them to get up to the speed of the game. And you've got to take into account the situation as well. They're 2 attacking changes at a time when really were trying to push themselves to get back into the game. So, they've come away with 7s for their 25-minute stint or whatever. They'll be quite happy with that. And at this stage of the season, it's all about the result, and that is what Blues have managed to get.
2 goals, clean sheet, 3 points. And we're moving to game 3. Now this one, Stackington versus Danglies. We look back to earlier in the season, and it's the record victory in the league for any team as it is in Swemp history. Tony Warner sent off with his 2 out of 10. And
I've never seen a 2 before.
Well,
I've seen a 3. I've never seen a 2.
It's the first 2 in this league so far. You need to see some 1s. The 1s do happen. Yeah.
Wow.
7 different scorers. It was an interesting one. But the team has evolved since for Stackington. And today, this is the lineup that we've gone for, which is pretty much the full strength lineup as it stands.
I like that you've adopted what I could. When I was tinkering with the Devils in previous incarnation, because we were awful. I couldn't get a result for love nor money. So that's where the random tactics generator thing came about. And
just a quick one. Big Kid, you say you're going, but do you want me to play a game first? if you want me to play a game, I will play your game and come back to this one. So if you are still here, give us a shout and we'll play it. Carry on, Fifey.
Well, while we wait for him to decide, without giving anything away, because I know you're recording it, if any of the masses watching can explain to me what the hell is kicking off on Eurovision, I thought the points were quite simple, that you get 10, 12, etc. They seem to be all of a sudden getting 180 points
Oh
out of
yes,
nowhere.
this is. Don't give any results away, people in the chat, please. Yeah, it's now they do half the vote is on the audience, well the public voting, and that comes in as a big lump set of points, and then the other half is the judges giving their scores, so it comes in as a big chunk. Absolutely, big kid. We will go straight to your game. I'm definitely would rather you were here for your match. So Trumpton versus Dalgety Rangers, the top of the table clash. I mean, why wouldn't
Huge.
you want to get this game in? And let's just check now. For today, I think there might be an arrow missing on your side, maybe there isn't. I'm going to go to that, but yeah, Fifey, just tell us about the team you got there.
Well, I mean, the best place to start is that centre back three. That is scary good. I mean, everyone knows, is an absolute beast. And the fact they've got Vieira in front of him as well, I mean, I'd be surprised if they ever concede a goal. And then you move up into midfield, and Robin, young but got quality. Barry Ferguson, a player who I mention a lot, very big fan of. Veron, will this one perform where the other one did it? Ray Parlour, for a team at the top of the table to have Ray Parlour as his just random player inclusion, full credit to that. I don't mind that at all. And then Collins, obviously cult hero status, and then Sigalko, I imagine, in this formation is scoring quite a few, but 10 and 11 starts. So
this
so
is
yes,
the first
definitely.
time for this formation, of course, as well with Trumpton. There's
Okay.
no staying the same with Trumpton, always different. And I mean, Big Kid said himself, this is a formation that looks a bit less mad, toned down the madness. The words there, but yeah, still well worth a go.
Yeah, this formation will lend itself to scoring goals. The two arrows from centre back will be interesting to see whether that will leave gaps to concede as well. But even if you are leaving Rio Ferdinand as one at the back, if you like, it's not a bad one to have, is it?
Not at all. No, he can do a job. And Saeed and Jai pushing into defensive mid when attacking. And that's a good natural position for both of those too. So we've got Dalgety Rangers, league leaders at the moment. Their changes for today sees same formation as ever, but Agahawa recalled into midfield for this one.
It's interesting. Obviously, 4-1-3-2, if you like, is a pretty go-to formation for people. Interesting that he's decided to take the DM out and put the AM in. That's normally what I would do, say, on a home save if I was losing the game and chasing it. Interesting to start that way. Defense, the defensive five, if you like, very strong. No complaints there at all.
Zanetti missing for this game as well, so Zauri replacing Zanetti.
Zauri's not a bad replacement by any stretch of the imagination. What's interesting is that the midfield three, if you look at it as names alone, you think that's a very good midfield three. But it's not necessarily the best midfield three we would see tonight. And that's what makes this team interesting. That although they're strong, they're not outrageously strong.
No.
Again, Nicky Parenko in that AM position where you'd expect to see him. Will he turn up, unlike in the previous game? Another Van Nistelrooy, you know what you're getting with him. Interested to see Elber. I know a few people, he's a bit Marmite with some people. Some absolutely love him, and some a bit like, I don't really get the hype. So for that reason, I reckon he will score today because I've said that.
Yeah, I'm an Elbear fan. Not performing too well for Stackington, but like that Bayern game I was talking about. Absolutely superb in that one. He and Nikiforenko helped me to win 3 of the 5 seasons. So yeah, let's give you enough of that contract as it stands there, and we'll get into this one. Predictions. Big Kid is he's not calling either way because he knows the strength of the opposition. Quinton wants a Trumpton win because it will keep the league competitive.
If the formation that Trumpton are playing is executed to its full potential, then they could actually make a statement here and win 3 or 4-0. But the forward arrows on the centre backs, does it lend itself to the likes of Van Nistelrooy, Elber, and Nikiforenko having space? And for that reason, I could see there being goals for both sides. As they're at home, I'm going to opt for Trumpton to win 4-2.
4-2, whereas Mike Savage goes 1-0. So, Camberwick Green sees a big crowd here for today's game, and let's get going. It's been a very quiet start to the match, but an offside was the first call for anything that's happened. 10 minutes into the game, there has been more attacking for Dalgety Rangers as it stands. Trumpton holding firm as it is. 20 minutes in, still nothing. Robin going forward, a chance there. I think it might be Collins. 25 minutes in.
I think you've been spoiled for drama so far. Not everyone can be as exciting as Gondor.
Maybe not, maybe not. And we're looking at Sigalko putting one wide. We're approaching half time. Agahawa not having the best of games in midfield. It's not been the best advert for the top of the table, as you might have suggested, but this tightness there. Nikiforenko gets the goal 1-0 just before the break. Tense game.
Very tense. Is it that it's whether it's tense because they're two sides at the top of the table and they know they can't really afford to lose, or does it appear tense because it's just two quality sides blocking each other out? I mean, you look at the action stats. Interesting, both sides. I think it showed there.
I will pop back to it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looked like both sides had slightly the better in each other's half, and then in the middle of the pitch, it was very even.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all there. Yeah. Trumpton just edging that middle battle based on the amount of percentage possession they've had. Nikiforenko with a chance that was parried by Costanzo, and he's followed in his own rebound. So yeah, he's got that goal. Trumpton just putting onto those now in case they want to make any half-time changes. It's not been horrendous, but I mean Ferdinand certainly a lot more, as you might have suggested before kick-off, really more involved of the 3 defenders.
Yeah, and that's because he's the one that's been told to sit and defend. You could potentially argue that if instead of like a 3-1 that becomes a 1-3, if they set up 2-2, maybe it'd be a bit stronger. But it's not like they conceded.
They couldn't do the 2, could they? They couldn't do the
2. But it's not like they've conceded a shed load of chances. You know, it's just Jers took their chance that they had. So I don't think Trumpton will be too disheartened, other than the fact that they haven't created as much as they would have liked.
No, that's the one thing, isn't it? But neither team has. Veron, no tackles again. Big Kid's playing through to 60 minutes. We'll take a quick look at the opposition. And Nesta is one of those players. He can put in lots of tackles and still come out with just a 7. And that's where we are with that at the moment.
It's because Nesta's always perceived as obviously being such an elite defender. Just putting in the tackles isn't enough for him. He needs to be having much more of a say in the game, like dominating the opposition. But because Trumpton haven't managed to create that much, he hasn't had a lot to dominate.
No, he hasn't. But what he has done, he's done pretty well. And you can see that Dalgety only a few passes between their strikers, really. I mean, the game has been played more in, I don't know, it's almost like more in each other's defensive areas than anything else. So let's get into this second half and see if we can get anything a bit more bit more freedom involved. Ratings-wise, you'd suggest Trumpton have been playing slightly better. Into this second half then, and Aga Howard's had a close chance there, Van Nistelrooy setting him up. And then Collins down the other end. This game certainly comes to life a bit more. Ferdinand takes a yellow for Trumpton, which could be dangerous. Parler and Ferguson involved for Trumpton. Going into this substitute time, will there be another goal? Aga Howard's missed. And for Trumpton, Vieira playing very, very well. Ferdinand playing well, but on that yellow card.
I still wouldn't necessarily be too concerned at this stage if I was looking at a sub. Maybe like an inverted winger, perhaps bringing Henry on for Parler, and maybe if it's allowed, adding additional forward arrows to the wingers. But nothing too major. I think it looked like they were still very much in the game and could get an equaliser.
Me, am I clicking in the wrong positions? Yeah, like I say, it's a good job I don't do Super League because I'd be clicking right-sided all the time. Ferdinand off for Okoronkwo. One change there. I'm not sure if there might be a second one lined up. And you can just basically see, arrows, arrows, I don't mind putting extra arrows on for people at this point, especially if they're on chat, then might as well control the team a bit more. I'm quite open to letting these things happen at the moment. So we'll just wait and see if anything else happens. Yep, Ferguson off for Henry and take Veron's arrow off. So Ferguson off.
Best perhaps moving Henry forward and making it
and then push Henry up front. Do you want him on the left or the right? Yeah, you were basically saying similar kind of things there. If you want to switch sides with them, just let me know, and I will do that while we just take a look at Dalgety Rangers, because they'll be making two subs here based on their 45 minutes 5 and below, 60 minutes 6 and below. Agahara's dropped to a 5, so he'll be coming off, and he'll come off for Barry Ferguson. So Barry Ferguson's played. I think it would be Ferguson. Yeah, he's played more than Totti, so he's a preferred choice. And then Ashley Cole will come off, and it will have to be Okoronkwo. So we're seeing two Okoronkwo's coming onto the pitch.
Interesting.
So that's always how it happens there. 5 and below at 45, and 6 or below at 60 for that team. And there we go. They're coming forward again, and they're looking more lively. Van Nistelrooy having a chance. So it seems much more like Dalgety has settled into this match. Yeah. Trumpton trying to get back in. There we are. Henry equalising almost out of nowhere. And what a substitution that's been. So, 10 minutes left in this match now. Very, very finely poised. I don't even know, because I can't see the table. You can all see the table. You'll know whether this is enough to move Blues top of the league. And there's Van Nistelrooy, though, getting the goal. Late goal in the game. They're coming forward, though. Trumpton trying to pull a goal back. Can anything happen for them? No. It's a late winner. And cruel for Trumpton at that point. A winner for Dalgety. Emerson, man of the match, with an 8. And stat-wise, yes, De Geer's just piled on the shots in the second half.
Yeah, and it's always a sickener to concede late, but as football fans, we also know there's nothing better than like a last-minute winner. So Gers will be delighted. I think, in a top of the table clash like that as well, that's huge for both teams. That's a huge result and a huge goal. That's a season-defining goal. In this sort of game at this stage in the season.
It really is. It really is at that point. So Henry played it in from Robin to Henry, the other way around. And then Van Nistelrooy, he's done pretty well. He's got past Said, and he's gone into the penalty area. A speculative. Is there such a thing as a speculative effort from inside the box? I'm not too sure. But Trumpton have played fairly well and been unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the best way to describe it. Against 95% of the league, if they perform like that, they would have won themselves.
Yeah, definitely. They've beaten teams like Stackington for sure, and quite a few teams in the league. I think they've certainly done a great job on. So yeah, I mean for Dalgety, I mean Leicester again, lots and lots of tackles won, headers won, decent passing, ends up on the 7, and yeah, Emerson. I don't think he's done anything particularly special. Only 3 key passes maybe and an assist, but yeah, he's got man of the match. Barry Ferguson's played well as well since he came on.
Yeah, Barry Ferguson clearly had an impact when he came on. But you're right. Obviously, all of the big name players did what you expect them to do. It might not, in certain cases, look particularly special, but Emerson has done what Emerson does. Barry's come on and done what he does. And that's the reason they've got so many big game players that they've done what you expect them to do. Perhaps they haven't done any more, but they've done what they needed to do to get the result, and that's what happens when you've got the big game players.
Yes, yeah, big game players that have turned up for the game and done what they need to do, as you say. Van Nistelrooy been hugely wasteful on the shooting though, and that's why maybe he's just ended up on the 8 and not man of the match. So into the next game, we are back to Stackington Danglies, but I don't know whether it end up kind of ghosty game towards the end now. I'm not too sure. Actually, I can press continue on Stackington, so we will be playing this game regardless of what happens. And
also could say good night to Big Kid, because we played that game, so he goes to bed, and he's probably regretting not just going to bed now.
Not a problem though for having you there. The change definitely is being made from Luis Garcia to Titi Camara, so that was agreed. But yeah, that just hadn't been activated. Everything else there is as is from their previous match.
Well, obviously, we're all Stackington tonight, aren't we? Because I believe a Stackington result sees Gondor off the foot of the table after their heroics earlier this evening.
Yes, it would.
It's an interesting team. It's slightly changed, I think, from the last time I saw them play. Their front two, very capable of scoring. We all know that. McAteer, I don't believe he was involved last time I watched Danglies. I could be wrong. But
you know, most games this season.
Dudek in goal. It's interesting when you see the team on paper. You wonder why they are so low, because although it's not like the best players to ever play for Liverpool, that is not a shocking 11. I mean, defensively, you think yes they're stronger, but Bishkan is a player who a lot of people would have in their squads. You know, as a minimum, he might not be a starter, but definitely in the squad. So the fact that he's in there, as I said a minute ago, Dudek's not an awful goalkeeper. So there's definitely talent in that team.
Definitely a much improved side compared with how they played last time the two sides met. We will go into this game. So Stackington, we have seen the Stackington team. A quick reminder of who's in there, and yeah,
that's it. I was going to comment on the fact just that you've adopted the love train through the middle. All you need is an arrow from Ndai now, just to see them all there.
And Romoshenko's extended up there, so we shall see how this one goes. But certainly, I don't think we're expecting anywhere near the result from last time. So, from the Jeb Tech, we go into it. Any predictions from anyone for this game? What about yourself?
Well, I mean, obviously, as I said, to throw the impartiality away, we want Stackington to win anyway. But the fact that Danglies are wearing yellow and blue, I'm hoping you stick 5 or 6 past them. I'm hoping you go full Blackpool on them.
Full on Blackpool.
Which, for anyone who's not been watching the EFL playoffs this year, you are missing a treat. They have been sensational to watch. I mean, they always are generally, but but they have been superb in these last few days.
I did certainly enjoy the Blackpool Oxford last night, the 3-3. It was a great match, wasn't it? Predictions coming in 4-2 to Stackington with 2 for Yahya. It would be his first league goal since coming in as a starting striker for the team, but certainly he's adding something to the team as a player there. There he is, yeah, Musa Yahya. He's got some real decent attributes about him, and it's about time I give him a run in the team. So let's see how he goes. And Savage saying 3-1 to these. So you've seen Dangley's in a score. Thanks. Anyway, here we go. And it's an early attack for Dangley's, and a gap has been booked. But Van Nistelrooy has come forward and chance. And there's Yahya with an early goal. His first goal in a starting position for these, and he's put one just wide as well. Can they make it 2? Romoshenko's going forward with chances. They are certainly taking the ball forward every time with a chance of scoring. There's Milevski. It's 2-0. Big Noopy going for 12-0 to Stackington.
Not bottom anymore. Not bottom anymore.
Dangley's to go to the bottom of the table as it stands. The game is quietened down, but can they make it 3 before half time? It looks like they're certainly packing the shots in, but 3-0 is not to be. 2 it is.
But went to the 51st minute.
Yeah, was the referee enjoying it?
Mm-hmm. The referees in Norway, it's Division 2 in Norway or is
Sweden
it Sweden?
For this one, yeah.
Sweden, yeah, sorry. Referees in Sweden, because I'm sure the Gondor game went to about 50 minutes as well. The referees just like, carry on, lad.
It's a sort of, laissez-faire attitude.
That's dominant. I mean, the only thing you can be remotely upset about is that it's only 2-0.
It's only 2, yeah. There's been a lot of chances for a lot of good chances. 60% of the ball, dominant in the opposition third and their own third.
Dangley's that's awful. That's absolutely awful.
So Van Nistelrooy gets the first assist for Yahya, and then the second goal was a chance for Nikiforenko, Dudek saving it, and Milevski just smashing the ball into the net. So, yeah, it's not been the best for Dangley's. We'll take a look at them first of all. And, yeah, I mean, the defence has had to play. The 2 centre-backs are doing okay.
Yeah, but because they have to be. If it wasn't for them getting 7s, they could be 7-0 down.
It's quite horrendous from Harkness there with his passing.
Again, you just wonder how Dangley's are this bad. No disrespect to Stackington, because obviously you're very much deserving of the win. You're absolutely dominating them, but how are they so consistently bad?
I don't know. Is it the sweeper formation? By moving that sweeper into attacking mid, is it doing nothing? I don't know.
I think Wooder's on for his second sacking of the season.
It's Wooderinho now. It's a slightly different manager. Dudek. Is Dudek in the changing room? I kind of wish he was, because he's made 7 saves. Nikiforenko's had a quiet match today. He has contributed to the second goal. But yeah, quiet game so far. And yeah, it's certainly been. I mean, the ratings aren't hugely good, suggesting that Dangley's have just been really bad.
Are you? I mean, this is where I could kind of reverse it and ask you to talk about your team and what you're seeing there. Are you slightly concerned that Nikiforenko isn't as involved as perhaps you'd like him to be?
Not concerned massively. I think if he continues at this rate, maybe he's a 60-minute change just to keep him fresh for the next round of fixtures. That's what I'm basically looking at 60 minutes. It's who can I keep fit for the next game. I think it's only 3 days away. But aside from that, not concerned, because he's had 3 shots and he contributed to the second goal. So, yeah, just a quieter game than usual. Let's see how the second half goes anyway. So it can be a chance. Yeah, he has hit the post. He's certainly looking like he could get that second goal. At some point during the game, Dangley's coming forward, but not for very long. And again, yeah, he has hit the
Oh,
post
yeah.
again. Unbelievable. 25 yards out, I think he was this time when he's done that. So we are getting to substitute time. I'm not even watching the action. There we go. So they're stacking to subwise now. Yeah,
You're not
it's
even
going to be.
breaking a sweat.
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. And I think so. It's all about protecting players for the next match. Two subs to make. Who's it going to be? Yes, Nicky Franco, sub one, coming off, and we'll bring on Ulf Kirsten and go two up front. Get the big man on.
Interesting you're going two up front and one of them still is not Van Nistelrooy.
I'm not playing Van Nistelrooy up front for the rest of the season. That was my decision. He's going to play in midfield, and I'm happy to play him there. And there's the train. There's a little train going
Yeah.
for you. And the second
Good
sub,
luck, train.
a get off, as he's on a yellow card, and bringing on Vorodenkov. Give him a bit of action before he might play left side in the weekend if Balmer's a bit tired.
Yeah.
Ulf to score, so still a chance of 4-2, but hopefully not. Dangley's, there's, there's no substitute instructions. No substitute instructions there. And I know Wooder has been a big fan of just play the players. It's almost the Wolfie style, isn't it? Play the players, and if they go off injured, they go off. There's nothing else to suggest. So,
That's fine. Because while they're playing this badly, you can go and put a few more past them.
Barosh has just had a chance though, and Kima saved it, and Romoshenko now goes off injured. I noticed he was a bit lower on fitness, but I just left him, and yeah, he is going off, and yeah, Song's going to get the action. I was thinking about Said forward, Milevsky forward, and Kamuna on, but no, Song can come on and get a bit of action. He's not played much this season, and he deserves a chance. As long as you don't get a goalkeeper injured now, that's the big thing here. Should have put a keeper on in midfield, just in case. It's still 2-0. It's been a very quiet, slightly boring second half, apart from the chances of
That's
hitting
fine.
the post. But a win is a win, as long as it is a win. And coming to these last 5 minutes, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything other than that. Yahya coming close again. He's dropped to a 7 now. Putting another chance wide. Any chance of a third goal? There it is.
Yeah.
Van Nistelrooy, and a 10 for Van Nistelrooy, man of the match. Comfortable.
I don't know if it's something you're too interested in, but just for my own amusement, can you just click on live league table for me, please?
Yes, let's have a little look. The live league table, just to see there at the bottom of the table for you.
Yeah.
Gondor, no longer bottom of the table.
Watch out, those teams were coming for you.
So the action zones didn't really change much. Dangley's clawed a bit of possession back. They had 2 shots on target. And in the second half, that third goal scored late on. I mean, we had the injury to Romoshenko, but the late goal, Milevsky to Van Nistelrooy, and he puts it past Dudek. I don't know unless he's dribbled a lot. 3 dribbles. I don't know quite if he's deserved a 10, but he's done fine. And Yahya, 6 shots, 2 on target, but 2 hitting the post.
Yaya set to become a big fan favourite.
Yeah, he's certainly. I'm really pleased to have him in the team at the moment. Definitely. Milevsky playing very well. Look at all those tackles there, sitting in front of the defence and stopping it getting near them some of the time.
Yeah, I'm surprised he had to put that many in, to be fair, with how poorly Dangley's played, but they certainly seem to put in a little bit more effort in the second half.
Yeah, it seemed like that Dangley's didn't challenge the Stackington defence when you take a look at the centre-backs and the fact that, they've made well over 100 attempted passes and only misplaced 8 of them. So they've had no challenge whatsoever. Looking at it, yeah, Barosh and Crouch, 5s. Camera, 5. Just, that Crouch has put 3 tackles in and has had no chance.
I mean, ultimately, if you were on a home save and your team performed like that, you'd be throwing something around the room, wouldn't you?
Yeah, or I don't know, or just kind of trying something different. That would be the next plan. Trying something different. They can try another plan now because Stackington have played them twice with an aggregate score of 10-0. So let's move into the next matches. And it's Radaby versus Athletic. And looking at the Athletic team for today, it's the same formation, but a few personnel changes.
There's arrows everywhere. In terms of the personnel, I quite like it. I'm not too familiar with Michael Hughes. I was looking to see if it was maybe Brian Hughes, who I think starts at Birmingham, but I'm not as familiar with Michael Hughes.
This is the better one. This is the better Hughes. Michael Hughes from Wimbledon. Excellent player.
Okay.
I've had him on my Wimbledon saves and do my slight little Wimbledon World Tour. Got into 3 countries and then started setting up the Swemp League instead. But yeah, I do rate Michael Hughes and he has been great this season. But yeah, Brian Hughes, not too bad. I had a season as Birmingham and he was probably the best player in the team.
Interesting, Ronaldinho's running back to midfield, and Gattuso's sort of meeting him in the middle. I'm not sure Ronaldinho, even though they're on the same team, I'm not sure Ronaldinho will be too impressed being anywhere near Gattuso.
I suppose at least, attacking wise, Ronaldinho will be up there and Gattuso will be here. Defensive wise, Ronaldinho will be there, Gattuso will be there. So yeah, they'll be all right. It's working okay for the team. But this is a team that at the start of the season, you go to when they started the season, they were right up there with, what have we got? The game against Stackington, 22 shots. Next game, 23 shots. And then recently, taking a cup game aside, the 1-0 win over Gondor, 15. It's not actually too bad. The defeat to Stackington, 8. So they've tailed off in shooting.
It can happen. Every team will go through patches, especially when there's not so much AI and it's human to human matches. We have the same conversation all the time in the Super League about how these things happen. But again, looking on paper, Barthez in goal, very strong. The defensive three, strong. The midfield looks strong. And then the 2 strikers are all, you're almost guaranteeing goals with those. So Radaby could be in for a long night here.
And a sub-goalkeeper's big news for Atleti today. Barthez taking the captaincy off Mike Taylor, who's now on the bench. And Radaby going completely unchanged here, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a prediction of 2-1, says Quinton, to Atleti. So Radaby's team, they've gone for the same centre-back setup as Really.
Yes, and I heard that they'd gone unchanged, which when you consider they're not, if I remember correctly, they're not in the best of form at the minute. I put that purely down to lazy management from Stee, and for that reason, I hope they get well and truly turned over.
10th in the league as it stands, 10th for a team that, by anyone's admission, should be top 4.
A team that has Khan, Vieira, Veron, Ronaldinho, Tomadera should not be 10th.
No, Lucas Radaby playing his first league game as a player for his own team.
And then throwing into the mix, Boya, Crespo, Nesta all on the bench, Vieri not even in the side. Questions need to be asked of Steve, what exactly he's doing with this team. I mean, I've criticised him for being boring the last 2 times I've been on, and now I just question what the hell he's doing, really.
I assume with it being unchanged, it's been unchanged from playing a non-league side. So it's a team that was set up to play against a non-league team. And now
I hope Atleti realise this, take it as the insult with which it is, and go and give them a good hiding.
Well, Mike Savage predicting a 4-1 win for Atleti as well. And
I'd be happy with that, Mike. I'm with you.
Kenneth Peterson in charge. We shall see what this game brings. We've got Ronaldinho, Veron, Who else have we got? Have we got anyone else challenge each other here? Yeah, just those two, is it, in the starting lineups that are up against each other? Well, this should be an interesting one. Let's go. And it seems like Radaby have come forward a bit more. Giggs has been booked. And yeah, Radaby certainly on the front foot. Gattuso's taken a yellow card for Atleti as well. And this has been a positive start. It's a yellow card for Rio Ferdinand. There's certainly disciplinary issues at this point, but they come forward. Giggs has a chance, and it's certainly turning round now. They're going for the attacks a bit more, but it's a fourth card. Saeed taking one. This is surely going to be some kind of red card at some point. Michael Hughes with a chance, coming close. Collins with one as well for Radaby, and then keep putting the foot in, boys. The suggestion there from Big Noopy. It's close to half time. It's 4-0, but that's on the yellow card front. 0-0. And yeah, I don't know if I saw that many shots, to be honest.
Radaby certainly started the strongest, credit to Steve, and then it looked like they might be punished for not taking their chances, because from about 20-25 minutes, Atleti started actually playing. But it seemed end to end without a great deal of chances, if that makes sense. Like they get into the attacking position and lose the ball.
Yeah, I didn't think there was 11 shots on that match. Well, at half.
But yeah, so both teams will be slightly frustrated that they've not scored. It leaves plenty of scope for improvement in the second half.
I'm going straight over to the Atleti side, so Big Noopy can have a look. Giggs, just to let you know, Giggs is shin injury. I think someone's left a footing on him on purpose, probably at that point. But that was one of the hardest halves to commentate on. I couldn't get into a flow at all with that. Gattuso, 14 attempted tackles and 6 won in that first half. He's certainly trying to do a number on his opposition. And yeah, for Radaby, while Big Nippy has a look and think about subs, okay to 60 minutes, that's fine. And the Radaby side, they've barely put a tackle in. They've put in fewer attempts than Gattuso.
Yes, and when you look at the ratings as well, they've been just above average. You know, no one's really excelled. No one's really standing out for Radaby. As you say, they're not putting in a lot of tackles. The passing figures are okay, considering we're only at half time, but no one again is really, no one's really taking the game by the scruff of the neck and thinking, do you know what, we were the better team here, let's press on and get this goal. I just hope that Radaby aren't becoming a team, that are basically trying to not concede first and score second, because that's not Steve's usual MO.
No, not at all. I'm really, really looking forward to his concept side for next season, though. I've seen ideas, and I think he's sort of going through the motions and waiting for this team to evolve into the new one. And I think it will be, the side is considerably weaker in terms of names of stars, but will be much more fun to watch next season. Yeah. Second half, kicking off, and will we get anything from it? The goalkeepers, the only two performing particularly well on the pitch. It starts off with Radaby coming forward, Tomadera with a chance. Veron and Vieira have already improved. And it is still that kind of bitty match, not a lot going on. Radaby, if anyone's under 75%, then I'll withdraw someone from Radaby, but otherwise, just leaving it sort of as is. Yeah, Collins on 79 is no requested subs, so we'll go with the flow on that one. And for Atleti, should have gone there first, of course. Van Nistelrooy and Gattuso on 6s, 4 yellow cards, and it's Giggs with that beating to his shin that is the only real concern. I mean, is it a time for also Van Nistelrooy off and Collins on?
Would you? I don't know your thoughts on it, but when you look at Giggs' fitness there and the fact it's on a yellow card, would you be tempted maybe to move Ronaldinho out there,
Yeah,
move Veron up, and
and
put
Barry
Barry Ferguson
Ferguson.
in the middle of
Yeah,
the pitch.
yeah, we're thinking on the same lines. But Elliot for gigs. I mean, Stuart Elliott. Why not? Stuart Elliott could make the difference there. He is
Well,
a
this is the
ready-made
night for
replacement.
the as we've been saying all throughout, this is the night for the lesser known stars, if you like, the non-elite names. So yeah, throw Elliot on.
Yeah, that is. I mean, Elliott. He's not had much chance this season, but I didn't realise his attributes were actually quite that good. I thought they were decent, but he looks like a decent player to bring on. And I assume we're going on to the next bit. I mean, if there is a request for a third sub, then I'll do it.
Yeah, if he's going to be bothered to pick a team, he's not been bothered to make any subs.
Oh yeah, yes, Steve's side is definitely not making any changes, but yeah, I think Big Nippy's probably finished. If he does call a sub quickly, I will. I've done it now. I think we're fine. Aren't we? Yeah, all good. There we go. So it's still 0-0. We've had even less to comment on in the second half, and there comes Veron. We're like, oh, Saeed has gone.
Oh, huge!
It is big. Now, is that get a striker off and tighten up at the back? Is it?
Well, I have a question here. Because it's a red card, would he be allowed to go two at the back now?
If nine players would reduce the need for three at the back, and also reduce the need for two wide players. So it was written into the very, very beginning rules. I think it mentioned that the little asterisk on there suggesting this counts for teams with 10 or more on the pitch.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah, it's always check the rules. It's good asking me questions, and it keeps me busy, doesn't it? Remembering these things. Gattuso off and Stam at centre back. Any more tweaking that you want to do at this point? Gattuso off, there he is at the bottom. Stam at centre back. Is it going to be any other switches, or just leaving it as those? I will
maybe look to remove Ronaldinho's arrow and then make Veron central, possibly. It would be the only other thing I'd consider at this point.
I'd personally have Veron there. I think he's a very good, competent defensive mid. But yeah, keeping it as it is. Fine like that, indeed. Well, 15 minutes to go. This is now really poised. And it almost seems like Atleti are the team that are taking it more to their opponents. They had a penalty turned down. Oh, close there. Veron putting one wide for Radaby. Tomanera, a late goal for Radaby. That is a big, big goal. And I leave my arrows alone. We are approaching the end of this game. Collins with a chance as well. And a 1-0 win for Radaby. It's a big one. Cannavaro, man of the match. And
congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, well.
Deserved as well. Very much deserved.
Less is more. Less is more for them. They've overcome them. Been caught offside 17 times, but they've done well. And yes, the one was right for you, Mr. Savage, but unfortunately the Atleti did not get 4. Take a quick look at the goal. Really late on in the match, and then we'll go back to the red card as well. So Ronaldinho to Tomanera, and he's gone just towards the keeper. It sounds like a decent goal, to be honest. The red card, second yellow. He's clattered Ronaldinho. His first yellow was one of the late ones? Yeah, we don't know what it was for. So we don't know what that one was for. Ranaby, Collins tired. I don't think we'll be playing next game. It's only a few days away. But yeah, Cannavaro, it's an accomplished performance, mainly done with his head.
Do you know what? I mean, I was fairly critical of Radaby pre-match, but they've put in a very solid performance, a very good defensive performance. You highlight Cannavaro there. Vieira, I believe, is one of those players, also Nate, as is Zanoni.
Radaby himself, yeah, decent performance.
And I think that's what this result has been built on, is the solid foundation. It does look like Stee has reverted to the thing I was worried about of let's not concede first and then try and win second. But in fairness to them, on saying that, they have actually created quite a few chances, which the first two times I was on, I referred to them as boring. This was a lot better from them, and they deserved, stats wise, they deserved it, to be fair to them.
Yeah, the match is only 1-0, but it wasn't a boring game. Definitely not. Gattuso, I don't think I've seen someone put in 20 tackles before.
Only win 9 of them.
I mean, what's more concerning? Less than 50% he's putting that much in, or 20 tackles. I mean, we have seen like Walter Samuel putting in 17, 18 tackles a game, but 20, I mean, possibly once this season, maybe a 21.
The thing is, you might be concerned that he's having to do that much work, but then if you remember how Atleti are actually set up, he's the only actual let's say physical midfielder there. He had Veron in front of him, who we've seen in every other game doesn't like to get involved at all, and then Ronaldinho sort of running backwards. So Gattuso is the only one there designed to win the ball.
Right,
so he's really
Veron's done something today in this game, hasn't he? This has been the best Veron performance today.
This is a better Veron performance than we've seen from all the other Verons, but it's still not great. It's still not what you would want from him.
No, possibly not. But yeah, Atleti, just checking that stats again, shooting has really dropped down recently, and I think if they can get their shooting boots, they'll be back in that top 4.
I hate to put in a contender for state the obvious competition, but it's probably because all of his players are running backwards.
They'll be starting attacks further back, yeah, potentially with that, but in the attacks they should still be where they're supposed to be. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one.
I've just read the switch to my phone on the hope I was dreaming, but no, another poor performance.
So I think we finished the league games for this round. No, we haven't. We've only played 5 games in this time. Well, we'll pop in this one. So Jim and Mike, thank you for hanging on for this. We've been slow. We've been talking a lot, haven't we? Round hay for today.
Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. It's Saturday night. Round here for this one. Ronaldinho, Riquelme, Juninho. I think we've seen those 3 playing in midfield together this season. We're in forced change with the suspension of Didier Agat, so Puyol is back in the side.
I look at this team. Puyol's an interesting one because he's very young on the game, isn't he? He's only sort of 18, 19, and he's not fully developed yet from memory. Oh, is he really 24? I'm sure he started younger than that.
I don't think he's that age, really. I think there's an issue with Puyol there. But yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't think he is 24 at that point. He's not 14. Yeah, he's in his 40s. Yeah, I think it's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's about 44 now, I guess.
Juninho's the interesting one. I'm struggling to recall a time that I've really seen anyone get real numbers out of Juninho. I'm not even just referring to time in Super League or anything. I'm talking about home saves as well. No, he's not one that people ever are taking the screenshots of and saying, look at how many assists he's got, or look at how many goals he's got, or look at his average rating. He's really good. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs today. But again, obviously for selfish reasons, I'm really hoping that Round Hay pick up a win here.
Yes, yeah. Well, selfish in terms of personal support now, because your Gondor your Gondor involvement is as their biggest fan.
Yes, I've put the work in now, and I hope that Swanee can take on from there. So as the more teams he can keep in and around him from now until the end of the season, the better.
This is 2 teams playing in yellow and blue, isn't it? This game. The OTs, look at the unavailability. We have got 5 players injured or suspended, and then a whole host of players are waiting suspensions.
Got a 6 waiting to be suspended.
But the team is ready. It's a bit of a change of system today, and features a defensive outlook to an attacking side.
What is with the back? I'm yet to be convinced by backwards arrows. by anybody.
One of the
And,
best
and
ones has been Takanadi for 76ers, but we don't see it anymore.
there's only been one that I've really seen work really well. Again, from my time in Super League, and I can't remember who it was, but someone had Eto playing on the left hand side of a front three with a backwards arrow into that AM center position, and he seemed to score 2 or 3 goals every game for about 4 games, and then they just changed the tactics again for no obvious reason. But yeah, I'm not convinced by backwards arrows, and it it is interesting.
I like them.
Oh,
Yeah,
if I remember rightly, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago when I did this? Jeff Whitley was incredible, wasn't he?
yeah, he has been playing well. Certainly, his form, he's looking good. He certainly turned it around from the days with previous manager. Whitley's, I mean, he's a central defensive midfielder, and he's being used out wide to really good effect.
He's clearly one of these utility players who can do anything.
Like
With
like
James
plenty,
Milner as the
like
OT.
like a Jordi Addis kind of player. Plays in a whole host of positions. But yeah, I'm not actually sure what he's like on the database, to be honest. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, on the attack, we've got what is effectively a 3-5-2 kind of formation.
Mm-hmm.
Defence, this drops back to having a defensive mid. We've got another centre mid coming in. We've got one up front and an attacking mid. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I like it. I like it. But Roundhay are a much stronger side. We've got to remember that.
I don't begrudge them the sheer volume of unavailable and set to be unavailable players.
Oh no, this Roundhay colour scheme looks nice, but plays horrendously.
It's not as bad as the stupid Flamingos kit. I couldn't
Yes,
read a thing last night.
yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. But the harsh. Barracat get a goal, but 2-1 to Roundhay. 3-0 to OT. Savage going positive there.
2-0 Roundhay for me. But
It's,
I would keep an eye on the Puyol situation. I think Otis could exploit that their left hand side.
let's take a little look and see. Last time it was 4-1 and a red card for Nick Baker. This really was a day for red cards back in the past. Oh, I'm clicking off my screen. I'm way off. There
Yeah,
we are.
that's
I
anything.
couldn't have missed by much more than if I tried. So the first half kicks off and OT surviving the first 10 minutes.
That's what I've been looking at. It's like when I was playing Jens yesterday, it's like, right, survive 10, then survive 20, then survive 30.
It's little bits at a time, and here we are, 27 minutes in. It's definitely finely poised, this one. Aspin shoving the opposition over. No card involved. And
I
it
mean,
is,
fair play to Otis so far.
yeah, it's a defensively very solid performance so far. Van Nistelrooy's just missed a target. A yellow card for, it was Willie Jameson. And then just heading into half time, a chance, missed the target. Another one maybe, and that's missed as well. Half time, 0-0. Well, interesting.
I think Otis will be the happier. They've not really created anything, but what they have done is they've been very defensively strong. They've reduced Roundhay to just a handful of chances, and of those handful of chances, even fewer were actually dangerous. So I think if they can see this out at 0-0, I think Mike will be very happy. But I think there's more to come from both teams, and I think Otis might offer a bit more in the second half purely because they're at home.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's a foul every 15 minutes. 3 fouls so far in the match. Otis, substitute wise, I mean, Aspin, just to let you know, Aspin has a potential foot injury at that point. We will go over to Roundhay. I'm not sure if Jim is still in.
I'm
He
just
was
going
here early
to
on.
I'm just going to go grab my phone charger. I'll leave you with discussing Roundhay while I grab my charger.
Oh, of course, that's absolutely fine. So, yeah, Aspin on 2 passes out of 4. And to take a look at the Roundhay side, pretty much all fully fit. I do have substitute instructions here for if necessary ones here. So let's take a quick look how things go. Just give us a shout, the managers, if you're okay till 60 for Savage. And just looking into it, Patrick Vieira has been heavily involved. Puyol defending quite stoutly there in his position at right back, and it's been fine. I don't think Jimmy is still in. I think he's working essentially at the same time. Yeah, he's on his way home, and yeah, subs at 60 anyway. So we'll go into 60 minutes. Making them tackle, yes, and of course the tactic that team instructions absolutely vital for Ortiz as it stands. They just missed a target there with Mendes, and Van Nistelrooy has failed to hit the target for them.
Well, they've lasted an
around
hour.
here. An hour indeed, and sub plans here. That's what you're looking at. Your conditions rating wise, it's Aspin, Newton, Mawson, Barakat, Whitley not quite on form today.
Aspin would be the one I'm looking at on a 6 and low fitness.
Yeah, you see, he's carrying that injury, but sub-wise, who would go into the middle of defence?
Would you be tempted to, given that he's got a forward arrow on, would you be tempted to move Whitley into that position and have someone else maybe slightly more attack-minded on the wing?
So Whitley is the third centre-back, with someone like Marchant or something out wide. That's a potential idea. It's not a bad idea either. We'll go and do the
not that I'm wanting to help
changes. Oh, no defensive subs, all injured suspended. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I thought it was no definitely subs. Yeah, no defensive subs because they're all injured or suspended. Yes, it's not on high squad 4 defence. You're absolutely right. Let's take a quick look at these subs at 60 for being injured or 60 or below. Take the arrow off Aspin. Yeah, we can do that. So,
I mean, in terms of these, for me, I would be looking at maybe dropping Omri back for Juninho and putting Alan Smith up front. That would be what I would be looking to do at this point. But that's the only thing I would maybe be looking to do.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much. And I think injured or 60 or below, Rui Costa would be absolutely ideal for that position. Mm-hmm. So 2 changes there. And the arrow off Aspin, go back in, take that arrow off. And is that the only thing you want to do there, Mike? Just let Aspin be a little bit freer? I think it might be. If let's give him 10 seconds, because it is about a 10-second delay between us speaking and it going onto the stream, I think. So if I swipe the mouse across the screen, how long does it take to get there? We'll have a little look and see how that happens there. It is somewhere in the region of 10. Yeah, leave it as is. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, let's head back in. And so we've got some fresh legs on the Roundhay side, and the OTs are under a little bit of attack. Van Nistelrooy's missed a target again, though.
Who's holding on there?
This is looking particularly interesting, isn't it? With OT still holding out with just 15 minutes to go, getting chances. Phillips has made a great save then, and it's still reaching towards the end of this game. Baker's taken a card. The tackling has been very, very strong for Otis. Anything late for Roundhay is a miss. And one last chance. It's a goal. It's Juninho. I cannot believe it. 95, 96 minutes into the game.
I'm gutted for him.
And Juninho, I cannot believe that game just kept going and going.
This is where the argument comes in that the 4th official suggested there'll be a minimum of 4 minutes added time, because that went in 95, 96 minutes. Michael was Fuming, absolutely fuming, and
Oh,
gutted in equal measure. I mean, I know I said I wanted Roundhay to get the result for my own obvious reasons, but I'm gutted for him. That's harsh.
that is two late winners we've had today, at least in these games. But that is the cruelest of blows. I mean, honestly, well done to Jim for his team getting the result against what was
Oh,
effectively.
correct.
I'd say that even though Otis have won this season and won twice, that's probably one of their best games.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't offer a lot going forward. They weren't looking to win this. They were looking not to lose. And they were very, very unlucky to lose in the manner they have done.
Yeah, a Brazilian combination there for the goal. Very unlucky to lose, but I mean that's the strength of the opposition versus Otis, which intrinsically it's supposed to be one of the absolute, one of a good team, but yeah, not against these players who've got immense powers. Very good performance. I mean, the ratings don't quite stand to be so strong, but Aspin's won every tackle he's put in. I mean, Mike, you've taken over a team that they're not your team, so be very pleased that you've done all right with them. Next season will be the real test for you. Um,
Yeah, similar to what you sort of said to me when you messaged about flamingos and stuff. All I would say to Mike is treat every game as a free hit. You're just learning about Swemp, ready for when your team are involved.
that's it. Yep, cannot blame the players. And Janino just showed that team just kept going to the end and did a great job. That's all right, Big Noopy. All good. Thank you very much for being here. It's just the UEFA Cup game, and it's effectively a friendly for 76ers against different opposition. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
And we'll go into this league table, taking a look at the table and things, and have a look at that. So the results as they were, a closer set of fixtures. Obviously, we did have the 3-0 to Stackington, but a closer set of results all round generally, and some real
Yeah.
thrillers within that. Dalgety Rangers 2 points clear of Blues, and then there's a 6 point gap now appearing between Blues and Trumpton. It's yeah, I'm not
I
surprised with who
think
the top two are.
I think with the strength, despite the strength of Trumpton, Roundhay, and Really, the strength in the top two currently means they will be the top two. Do they
Yeah,
have to play each other yet, or have they played each other twice already?
we can have a look at their fixtures coming up. They play Blues on the 16th
Ooh.
of October. That's one of the very last games of the season for them. Yeah, with 5 games to go. Oof.
That's huge. That's massive because
Yeah,
they could quite easily they could quite easily each win every game between now and the end of the season, and it's purely on that game.
and it's after an international break as well, so the players have got a lot of time to train and get injured
Yeah.
between the two games. Yeah, I mean, this is really tight for the third place, isn't it? Now we've got 5 points between them. Trumpton leading the way. Roundhay fourth at the moment, moved ahead of Really. Great result for them in the end. But
Now,
yeah, only 5 points.
if I remember correctly, the way you're working it is the top three get promoted to Division One next year, which
Yes.
means you're right. The fact that the race for third is so tight keeps it very, very interesting.
Stackington are the new 76ers. 38 scored and conceded. Um, yeah, I mean, we scored 38 and they've have 39 goals in their matches between them. So, but we have 76 indeed, as it is pointed out there with the in this. But yeah, 39 goals in their games. Down at the bottom of the table, there we are. Dagley's confirmed bottom of the table. 8 goals. 8 goals for them this season.
No,
Less than 1 in 2. I spotted it. I spotted it before you've put this in the chat. Don't worry. It's But yeah, Stackington 7th, 5 points clear of Rugby, who now have moved up 2 places and past Los Aracas, and of course the 76ers side who didn't play. We're going to get it through to their game, but let's have a look at there won't be a team of the week. We'll take a look at the next fixtures though while we are here. And it's just 3 days away. Athletic versus Otis, 2 teams who've taken late defeats today. Blues versus Danglies. I mean, that 3 points for Blues.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Dalgety versus Radaby. I mean, that could go either way based on that Radaby performance.
Yeah, if Rugby can perform like they did, then they'll certainly offer a scare at least.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, definitely. Los Aracas versus Stackington, that's going to be a close one as well. Aracas need to bounce back.
That, but if Gondor can beat them, then surely you must be thinking we can beat them too.
It all depends on what Dan Hazard does with his team. He can set them up really well, and they can be set up not so well. Yeah, I mean, but the fact that we've played them and we lost in a cup semi-final to them, I think, as well. So, yeah, Really versus Trumpton, huge game, huge game. And Roundhay versus Grove, who've had a break. So Roundhay going to team, giving us a fresh team. And of course, the game the day after, 76ers versus Gondor. So that will be played all in one round. Let's get us to that. As I said, quick check. Wolfie, his team there beat Leicester 2-0 with a cricketer, Ashley Lythe, in the team there. Arnigan Laux as well, some stars. Bolton were beaten by Utrecht. So, some big ones. So, a lot bit to click through before we reach it. Romashek goes up for we haven't won for 9 games. We weren't. I think it was potentially 1 win in 2 wins in the last 3. But anyway, really are unhappy. They're unhappy as well. Danglies, Radaby are pleased. Roundhay are pleased. A couple of injuries. They got it for 2 weeks. That was before the match. That 2 weeks ago, to injured it. Lots of things happening. Baker's banned for a game. Jameson's banned for a game. The 8-1 defeat, which we did see before. It's a Saeed too much ban for his 3 yellow cards. It's because of the red card. The red card. It will be Douglas that haven't won in 9. That will be what it is. Yeah. Mike. Those injuries were from before, probably. Ferdinand banned, Gattuso banned. Davis is out for a week. Oof, there's all sorts going on, isn't there? Well, Sanjay Ferdinand is more than mature enough. More than mature enough.
He's been superb for me for those 2 games. Hang on a minute. That's all he gets. There's no border ecstatic at the fact that they've actually won again.
Yeah, they're just a strange sort of board.
Oh.
Mike, very concerned by his team's injury crisis and suspension crisis. Strasbourg versus 76ers. We're just going to hope 76ers haven't got any injuries into their team, and they haven't. The team is set up for today.
No pressure on the 76ers, but he's representing the entire Swemp League here, so he better not embarrass us.
And the team sees Rui Costa coming in attacking midfield for this one. He hasn't been starting too many games, but to me, I think he's essential for this team.
Who's that, sorry?
Rui Costa.
His creativity would be. I like that he's partnered with Nedved. That's a lot of creativity in one area. And I think I mentioned last time I was on, Takanadi is a player I like a lot, and I don't think he gets the... You know, when the conversation about DMs comes up, you've got your Vieiras and your Keens are seen and as your elite, if you like. And then you've got the ones just below that. I think Takanadi belongs in that discussion, but he doesn't get in there with the likes of Zayaleus, Ambrosini, players like that. And I think he deserves to be in that conversation.
His best position for 76 this season has been to play here with the backwards arrow that way, and that's worked very well for the side. But yeah, change the system. It's been done for about 4 or 5 matches, maybe even more at the moment. Interesting stuff going in the chat regarding ducks. It's all.
Well, it just makes it not about cats.
Cats and ducks. It's an interesting set of animal topics. Strasbourg, though, for the game, they have in their team Schiller in goal.
Always dangerous from a set piece.
Yeah, will he be taking any? It'd be interesting to see if there are not many real players in the team.
Bruno Ngotti.
Ngotti's there. Just going down the rest of the team there, there's only Corentin Martin in the team as well. He's dropped stamina as well. He's not really looking too good. Yeah, it's so only 3 players to really worry about, and the rest of them completely fake. So we'll watch the game from the 76ers point of view. He is pretty handy, but also only left about 6 minutes. So let's see. Can 76ers get themselves a goal? They're on the attack early on. But Schiller held firm for the first bit. 76ers going forward again. Remember, these have only scored, 13 league goals or something all season. Something pretty poor. Takanani gets the opening goal. Your praise is justified.
I don't know if you've noticed it as well, but if you do get teams who don't score in the league, when they get like cup competition or European competition in this case, that's when the floodgates seem to open and suddenly they're banging low.
Yeah, it can happen. It can certainly happen. I mean, they won the cup. 76ers, they won the Swedish Cup earlier this season, and this is why they're in Europe. And it is certainly interesting to see that they're playing with a bit more freedom. And at half time,
well done, 76ers.
Yeah, doing very well. 4 times better with their shooting than their opposition. They scored a goal. The goal was from Takanadi, and it was. So he's gathered up a loose ball and smashed it in. The opposition playing all right, not too bad, but 76ers doing what they need to do so far.
Yeah, they're definitely dominating. They're definitely the better side. Definitely deserve to be ahead, and I just hope, for their sake as well as the league's reputation, that they can maintain this and hopefully build on it in the second half.
Indeed, I'm just going to check. 60-minute substitutes will be made at this point. We do want them to take it to the opposition even more and see what they can do, but not exert themselves too much with, of course, their other game coming up soon. Luciani was awful with no passes, yet not completing a single pass when he went off halfway through the first half. Good spot there, Quinton. So the second half is looking still just as positive for 76ers.
Just going to say, Quinton good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, he spots him. Takanadi has scored again.
Good Takanadi.
Yeah, very observant, Mr. Fortuna. And we're coming close. Oh, Takanadi nearly scored a hat-trick. Well, surely he's not coming off unless he's injured. Let's have a look. So, Sigalko for Del Piero, if he's not scored, well, yeah, he has not scored. There is Sigalko.
He hasn't had to.
Van Bommel for the lowest rated of the attacking midfield 3. So,
Van Bommel?
Yeah, there's a plan. So, Nedved, Rui Costa, Marquinhos, they're all on 7s. We always look at conditions and things afterwards. They're all very similar. We'll take a quick look at how they're doing here. They're extremely similar. Nedved's winning tackles. Rui Costa hasn't done much. Marquinhos done nothing. Marquinhos going to be brought off. He's done the least of them. He'll come off for Van Bommel, and it pushes Riquelme further forward. And
okay.
Yes. So there we go.
Especially away from home, sticking with what you've got can be a good idea, especially at 2-0 up.
Fancy a double for Maxim. So, will we get 2 for Sigalko from Quinton's point of view? He's hit the post and Van Bommel's put the rebound in. So, yeah, he's contributing so far. This is a good, solid performance leading into their match coming up against Gondor at the weekend. Doing exactly what they need to do here. Not doing too much, but getting a good comfortable lead going into this next bit. Well, Takanadi's still looking pretty lively as an attacking threat. Sigalko gets one, and with injury time coming up, he's scored and he's hit the post. His final whistle. He's scored, he's hit the post, and the one that he did hit the post with went to another player who scored. So, yeah, good job.
As a manager, you can't ask for much more than both of your subs coming on and contributing in the way they have.
No. Very, very solid. Everybody's put in a decent shift. We've got plenty of passes being done from those midfield positions and at the back. And it just seemed like they've done absolutely everything they need to do.
Yeah, they've walked that. That's a superb performance.
Quick look at the goals. We've got the ball up to Takanadi. He's lucky because he was heading the ball to Marquinhos and it's gone in. Lovely. And then, Sigalko hit the post and Van Bommel putting in the rebound. And then Rui Costa into Sigalko, who just made the space for himself and scored. Chilavert still got an 8, whereas Martin and Gotti ended up on 7s. Definite motivation from Fife towards Takanadi there, which worked a treat. And yeah, gotta be happy with that. And
yeah, he'd be delighted.
That is where we're up to. Any ridiculous scores? There might be some
You
teams
could
getting
almost
beaten. Chef win in Europe there, I notice. Birmingham versus Macedonia. Really weird teams that have qualified. Charlton 1, Carmarthen 0. That's a Tommy Muttonless Carmarthen. Real Madrid. Chef Wedden into Turku sharing the points. Falaraki beating Maccabi Haifa.
Decent.
And Portadown only losing 1-0 to Genoa. And in the other games, just some interesting ones there. And of course, fake Stella Artois losing 3-0 to Sparta Prague. Fortuna in there, but Fortuna Sittard was it? Which Fortuna is it? Yeah, Fortuna Sittard. Oh, and Fortuna, yeah. Fortuna Sittard and Fortuna. Didn't even notice. 0-0 with the team from Bosnia Herzegovina. Yeah, Fortuna Sittard also at 0-0. So I did have to rename the team to F Sittard to allow Fortuna to be called Fortuna. So let's save it as we're at.
I think that's been an enjoyable night all round.
Yeah, very good indeed. Some real good matches. So it says that Ronaldo's been signed.
Still not scored though.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. Ronaldo has signed for Fortuna, and Dede has as well. These players are not in that squad, and they've come to join the fun. Anyways, Fifey, thank you very much for everything tonight, and good luck with Flamingos and getting a point. I think everyone's rooting for you.
Yes, I set my stall out on my tweet today. Task 1 was to score a goal. Task 2 is to get a point. Task 3 is to get a win. It's going to be unbelievably difficult. So I appreciate the kind words. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm overly confident of being able to do it, but the fact that testing has got to a point that Gondor managed to get their first win. As a pop star once said, never say never.
And they also said that people have difficult second albums, so we shall see. But yes, Fifey and the Horse sounds like a good. It sounds like a kid's book, doesn't it? Fifey and Horse. Or like,
well, as long as Doug and Buddha don't read the comments, because it'll be the next accusation of bestiality on my part.
Oh, it's like it wasn't yours. It was Savage. So it's okay. He's into it now.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Savage in his duck.
Anyways, thank you very much to everyone, and good night.
Night all.
Good fun.